everyone, my name is Matthew Griffin, better known as the Fanatical Futurist, and I am going to be your host on this little trip into the science fiction-like future, basically, that you actually already live in, that is already science fact. That's it, so get your heads around that. Now, when we're actually having a look at the future, I'm your host. I track over 600 emerging technologies, 350 megatrends. I've written 15 books, which you can download everything for free. I try to give everything away for free. That's why I have a crappy camera. And if you go to the 311institute.com website, you'll see a little banner at the top. You can download books that are, well, actually, I can even show you. That's it. You can download these books here, which this one is 400 pages long. It's got over 350 emerging technologies in it. As I start moving around all the crap on the desk, you've got this one here, basically. So this particular book shows you how to build disruptive companies from scratch. Literally an A to Z. You take a blank sheet of paper. You can be a little bit of an idiot. Let's face it, I am. That's it. And I managed to build a global business. Everything is in there. Again, that's it. It's kind of a monster book there. 400 pages. And then finally, basically, we've sort of got, I mean, these are the ones I print out. I don't print out all of my books because that would just be insanely expensive. And then basically we've got this one here, get it on the screen, the Trends Codex. Now this one is again about 450 pages long. And actually when you have a look at all of these different books, if I can find a page, they're all designed to be so easy for you to use that you just select a technology, you select a trend, basically, and within a couple of minutes you know everything about it. So when I say books, these are more like guidebooks. I mean, have a look at that. There you go. What's that? That's gig economy for you. But this particular Trends Codex covers absolutely everything. And I often joke, basically, that while all of my fellow Futurist Keynote buddies are best-selling authors, I am not a best-selling author because I don't sell anything. That's it. So yesterday, someone actually told me off for that. They said, you know, if you're a best-selling author, you actually get a little bit of a bump on your keynote speaking fees and everything else. And I'm like, I don't know. That's it. I prefer to give them away. And talking about giving stuff away, thank you guys basically for subscribing to the two channels basically that I produce. So I produce the 311 Institute and the Fanatical Futurist YouTube channels. Google's been sending goodies. So the 311 Institute YouTube channel smashed past the 120,000 subscriber barrier, but that got smashed through by the Fanatical Futurist channel, which is now at roughly 600,000 subs, putting me in the top 0.1% of YouTube. But I don't do it for me, I do it for you. This year alone, we have democratized access to the future for over 10 million people all around the world who would either not see the future, wouldn't necessarily understand the future, basically if it bit them on the nose. Not saying that in a mean way, that's it, but you'll see what I mean when I start walking you through some of the futurist news that I've been spotting this week. And hopefully, by watching the videos, by watching the keynotes that I put onto the channel, you can see the next 50 years of whatever it is that you care about for free. And then the books help you prepare for it. So anyway, with enough of me prattling along, let's get to it. This is the fanaticalfuturist.com blog. Again, everything is free. We're going to be going through 12 news snippets that I've seen this week. So these are emerging technology and science news snippets where we are looking either at very, very near the bleeding edge emerging technology news, or we're just blowing straight past it. Let's have some fun with some N+1, 2, 3, 4, 5 generation technologies, shall we? Now, something I've been talking about for the past 5, 6, 7 years, basically, is the increasing automation of coding. Now, Google obviously have their own artificial intelligence large language model called Gemini, and it turns out that they've been using it internally to develop a lot of their new code. So 25% of all Google's new code is written by artificial intelligence. Now, on the back of this, we recently saw news from Amazon who said that they used their artificial intelligences to save over 4,500 man-years of developing and saved over $250 million of cost. developing over 30,000 Java applications. So, you know, increasingly we are seeing the automation of coding and programming. You know, yes, it will take a decent amount of time before artificial intelligence is an expert coder that completely replaces human software developers, but it is coming. That's it. If you want to have a conversation with me about that podcast, that's it. Let's go. Now, we've got Andural. So when we have a look at the future of warfare, so I cover every technology, every sector, every line of business, everywhere. When we have a look at the future of defense, Andural, who is headed up by the guy that bought you Oculus Quest virtual reality headsets, when that got bought by Meta, he pivoted into defense. Increasingly, they are building some relatively state-of-the-art drones, and these particular drones are, they're starting to get a little bit hunter-killery, you know, if you want to sort of put it in that jovial kind of way. But these drones are miniature drones. They're part of the United States Replicator 2 drone program. So when it comes to the future of warfare, the United States faces kind of two different problems. On the one hand, basically, they face a problem where China is simply out innovating the United States, and that's called overmatch. Then we have a pacing threat as well. But then in addition to that, China is able to manufacture all of these different products at extreme speed. So the United States is kind of looking for any kind of advantage that it can get in order to really not really just maintain its lead, but extend its lead, but also prevent China from actually overtaking them. So we've got Salesforce. So Salesforce are essentially the sort of the giant CRM company owned by Mark Benioff. As we see the future of artificial intelligence emerging, which is agentic AI, so we move from large language models like GPT-4 and ChatGPT to what we call agentic AI. And agentic AI is really a little bit of a move away from gigantic artificial intelligence models. Those models will manage lots of little AI bots. And each of those, the idea is that each of those little artificial intelligence bots does something. So if you want to complete, say, for example, a software development task, you've got the big AI brain, the mothership, that understands what you've said, what you want to happen, and then it commands all the little artificial intelligence agents, a little bit like a program manager, to go off and do whatever it is you've asked them to do. And then they come back and say, here it is, this is what you asked me to do, I've done it. So one of the problems that we see with agentic artificial intelligence is safety and security. It's also being able to authenticate that the AI agents that you're using aren't on a Chinese server, for example, et cetera, et cetera. So Salesforce has launched their Agent Force, which is their little sandbox. So the idea behind this is you create your agentic artificial intelligence workflows to automate whatever it is you're up to. You test that in a sandbox, which is a safe environment, and then you move those agents into your production environment once you've done your testing and once you're happy. So that's actually quite an important move. A lot of other companies like Microsoft and OpenAI, as well as Anthropic, look like they're just going to launch agents and go, there you go. But I think the Salesforce model is actually probably more of a sensible and measured approach, because as I discuss in some of my cybersecurity keynotes, which you can have a look at those on the YouTube channels, just search up cyber. There are a lot of upsides to artificial intelligence agents, but there are a lot of risks. You need to know what you're getting yourself into. Now, it's widely known that it's relatively easy to jailbreak artificial intelligence models. To give you an example, if you ask an artificial intelligence to write, if you ask an AI to make a bomb, then most of them basically will say no. But if you actually ask it backwards to make a bomb, it will say, here you go. If you write the word bomb in ASCII art, they'll say, here you are. And then if you write teach me how to make a bomb in Zulu, they'll also go, here you are. So it's very, very easy to jailbreak even the biggest, most sophisticated artificial intelligence models that are going through different red teaming processes like the OpenAI models. But however, in 2024, we've seen the growth of the humanoid robot movement, but we've also seen the growth of what we call embodied artificial intelligence. So Meta, Mark Zuckerberg, doesn't believe that you can have truly intelligent artificial intelligence unless the AI has a body. So increasingly, we're seeing artificial intelligence being given a body, like robots and so on and so forth. And then we're also seeing the development of general purpose robots, like humanoid robots, which can kind of supposed to be able to do anything. You know, you give them a small amount of training data, and they figure out what it is you want to do, and they learn sort of relatively intuitively, and they go off and they do whatever they happen to do, you want them to do. However, as we start rolling out more and more humanoid robots, like those from Figure, which are being deployed into BMW's car manufacturing plants, it turns out they are very, very easy to jailbreak, just like the large AI models. And whereas a large language model like ChatGPT, if it gets jailbroken, it's not going to go and pick up a bomb and put it somewhere because it's not got a body. These particular researchers actually got Spot the dog, so the Boston Dynamics robot dogs, the ones you see, got it to do all kinds of different things, including dropping off a bomb outside a sort of fake police station, that sort of stuff. So when we think about the development of new emerging technologies that are increasingly sophisticated, powerful, capable, autonomous in some cases, we are far, far behind making all of these technologies safe. Again, you want to chat with me about that? DM me. Now, NVIDIA, over the past 10 years, I've been tracking the development of synthetic content. So again, if you have a look at the YouTube channel, type in the future of trust, you'll see me talking about generative artificial intelligence back in 2016, 2017 in London, many, many years before generative artificial intelligence became popular. Now, one of the things I sort of find interesting, and this is what this is about, is there's always this debate over what happens when artificial intelligence is able to create its own content, like music, like videos, and so on and so forth. What happens to human ingenuity and human creativity? Now, in this particular case, NVIDIA's artificial intelligence was used to create sounds that have never existed before. So, for example, a saxophone barking, of all things. Which then kind of opens the door. It's if we as humans have access to these new models that can create sounds, for example, that have never ever existed before, then what do we as human creators and creatives do with that? It'll be really interesting to sort of watch, because this could actually unlock a new kind of human creativity, which would be fascinating. That'd be a little good news story there. We've got quantum shells. So quantum shells, basically, they're kind of really technical. It's a kind of quantum mechanics-like technology. But quantum shells are, you can think of them as a kind of highly advanced sensor that is able to pick up very, very faint electromagnetic resonance. And while no one really pays any attention to this kind of stuff, these are sort of the little weird technologies that I pay attention to. This could actually lead to breakthroughs in things like PET scans, MRI scans, and all that kind of stuff. So that's just that one. It's a little bit geeky. We'll move on from that one. So we also saw Google launching Gemini 2.0. So this is a multimodal model, basically, that can do all kinds of different things. There's plenty on there. We've also got Google again releasing their Willow quantum computing chip. So this particular quantum computing chip made a lot of headlines around the world because it was given the task of solving a quantum optimized problem. and it did it in about a minute. However, even though it was a specialist problem that it was given, and this is a highly accurate quantum computing chip where accuracy matters. It's not just about the number of qubits that you have, it's about the accuracy. This particular quantum computing calculation, it turns out, would have taken a traditional supercomputer like the US Department of Energy's Summit supercomputer, which is the size of a gigantic baseball field. It's something 10 septillion years to do, which is older than the universe. So, I mean, I love researchers. They always come up basically with these fascinating numbers and everything else. But hey ho. So, this leads, as we sort of start looking a little bit ahead into 2025, this then starts getting a lot of people excited about the potential of quantum computing in 2025 to 2030. We've now got Stanford. So Stanford have been using artificial intelligence agents to accurately predict human behaviors. So one of the things I've been seeing in the world of AI is the development of what I kind of call social artificial intelligence. So we've got artificial intelligences that create content and do all these kinds of things for us. However, AI still, as it turns out, does not fundamentally understand humans, human behaviors, human relationships, human dynamics, and all that kind of stuff. While we have something called effective computing, where artificial intelligence is able to watch the camera and it's able to watch you through the camera, for example, and it's able to tell whether you're happy or sad, and you end up with a digital human that says, "Oh, you're looking sad today. You know, let me play you a song to cheer you up." So while we have artificial intelligences that are increasingly capable of understanding human emotions and then having, shall we say, the intelligence to manipulate those emotions for better or worse, social artificial intelligence is a different kind of AI that is exclusively being designed to fundamentally understand the core of what makes us humans tick. So it's like a leapfrog in effective computing. And again, AIs that can accurately predict human behaviors, that then takes us into the kind of fate conversation that people have. Are you creating your future, or is the AI creating your future for you? Let's have fun with that as a philosophical debate. Then we've got T-Mobile and SpaceX. So T-Mobile and SpaceX have finally managed to get FCC approval for satellite to smartphone communications. Ordinarily, SpaceX would connect to a base station. So this is the Starlink system, where Elon Musk has been launching 12,000 satellites into low Earth orbit to connect the planet. Finally, you are now able to use your bog standard smartphone with a little bit of tweaking to connect to Elon Musk's Starlink satellite system via T-Mobile, so that when you are mountaineering and a grizzly bear basically is chasing after you in the Rockies, you can phone people. That's it, as opposed to going and trying to find someone that you can run faster against. Now, we also saw, on a sad note, we recently saw the use of a ghost gun in the murder of a US healthcare CEO in New York. So again, about 10 years ago, basically, we were talking about the use of 3D printing to develop new kinds of weapons, basically, that simply were pretty much undetectable. So this is, for example, the use of 3D printing to 3D print a composite handgun, which you can take through an X-ray scanner and everything else doesn't pick it up. However, when we have a look at 3D printing itself, especially basically from a defense perspective, but also from a weaponized sort of perspective, the US Marines have been 3D printing grenade launchers, explosives. They've even been 3D printing grenades and all kinds of different things. So while the United States, as a result basically of that murder, is having, should we say, renewed conversations over the role and the regulation of ghost guns, The fact of the matter is we are already starting to get to the point where you can 3D print some relatively heavy weaponry, including missiles. You know, Raytheon recently 3D printed missiles, in which case it means that we're going to go from ghost guns to ghost weapons, which will be very, very hard to find, monitor, regulate, and all that kind of stuff. So it's kind of the democratization of weapons in a supra American way. So we've got manifest. So when we have a look around the world, about 44% of adults report being lonely on a monthly basis. So loneliness, human loneliness, is actually now being classified by the World Health Organization as a pandemic. And Manifest thinks that, ironically, it can use artificial intelligence to help you feel less lonely. Now, this is kind of an extension of the movie Her, for example, that Sam Altman and OpenAI keep talking about, where rather than talking to a human, I just start talking to an artificial intelligence and it talks back. And the idea behind Manifest is that these AIs will actually make you feel less lonely. However, are you lonely if you're talking to an artificial intelligence? Or is that company marketing, or what? I think I'd like to personally see an artificial intelligence that when you're feeling lonely, yes, you can talk to, but it might give you some social tips, such as go to the pub, damn it, and go and have a conversation with someone at the bar and leave me alone. So I think it's an interesting, I think the use of artificial intelligence to help with depression, mental health, all this sort of stuff with telepsychiatrists is really quite interesting. I just sometimes question the actual execution. And then that's it for now. How much more have we got? So I've got lots of other ones as well. I'm going to leave this particular video there. So I've done 12 now. I'm going to go and have a look at the other 12 and I'll do a new video on that because frankly, otherwise I end up boring you all, even though it's science fiction like news. So thank you for listening. Like and subscribe. Oh, woohoo. That's it. The next one hopefully basically will be for 1 million subs. And if you like this, like and share. I won't necessarily say like and subscribe, but if you like this and you like helping other people see this kind of crazy future that I see, and if you like the books and everything else, then just share it. It's free. I don't even run adverts on the channel, so that's just crazy. People who keep trying to claim my content keep running adverts on my channel. Maybe I'll do a little session basically on the future of copyright and IP rights and infringement basically in the future. But I think that will put a lot of people to sleep. That's it. Anyway, great seeing you all. Thank you very much. And I'll see you again soon with the next one. Take care. Goodbye.